Nope, here I am. Okay, I'm way up here and I'm going to take you through our science lesson. So we're looking today at how temperature is measured, and we have a very cool virtual lab to practice this with. And I'm going to try to make it through in less than 15 minutes so my video doesn't cut me off. Oh no, I knew that was going to happen. I tried this earlier and it went too long, so I had to start over.
Welcome to the lesson, How is Temperature Measured? In this lesson, you're going to investigate how we measure how hot matter is.
Okay, let's take a look.
How hot is the sun? The temperature of the sun's surface is about 5,500 degrees Celsius, 55 times higher than the temperature of boiling water.
Whoa,
Just
that's
as well,
super
we're
hot.
not any closer. To tell how hot any matter is, we can measure its temperature. Temperature is usually measured in degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. For example, the temperature of boiling water is 100 degrees Celsius. Click a picture to discover more.
Okay, so
Click the arrows to see more pictures.
when we talk about measuring temperature, when you have a thermometer in your mouth, we're looking, usually your thermometers are measuring Fahrenheit, which is a different number scale. Most of the science world likes to talk in Celsius. So Celsius is just a different measurement, but it still measures temperature. It's just a different scale. Okay, so this boiling water is 100 degrees Celsius. What about this guy?
The temperature of a healthy human body is about 37 degrees Celsius.
Okay, 37 degrees Celsius is about the same as 98.6 Fahrenheit. And that is confusing, but all you really need to know is when we're talking about Celsius, that boiling is about 100. A good human body, your normal temperature is about 37 Celsius. Let's see what the ice is.
The temperature of ice is 0 degrees Celsius or below. The temperature of a normal room is about 22 degrees Celsius. The temperature of melted steel is about 1,500 degrees Celsius.
That's hot.
The temperature of a hot desert in daytime is about 45 degrees Celsius. Temperature is found by looking at the level of the liquid in the thermometer. Okay. The number on the scale beside the top of the liquid tells you the number of degrees. Click the image to see the temperature being read for different drinks.
Okay, so this cup of ice, maybe it's juice with ice in it, is sitting right above 0.
The temperature of this cold drink is 3 degrees Celsius.
Okay, what about this room temperature water?
The temperature of this water from a kitchen faucet is 20 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
The temperature of this warm milk is 42 degrees Celsius. The temperature of this hot chocolate is 55 degrees Celsius.
Oh, it's going to do the thing that makes me redo it. It's okay.
Welcome to the lesson, How is Temperature Measured? In this lesson, you're going to investigate how we measure how hot matter is.
I'm going to refresh this because I think it's playing the wrong one. No? Okay, I'm going to pause the sound because it's something to do with my computer. It doesn't like science lessons. So they're asking, what do you think the good temperature is to store food? And I'm going to give you a hint that they are talking right now about food that needs to be kept cold. So some foods don't have to be refrigerated, like your bread. When you buy a loaf of bread from the store, most people leave that sitting out on the counter, okay? But and they have pictures of fruit here, and some fruit you have out on the counter, and some of it you keep in the fridge. So I don't want you to think about the fruit pictured here. Think about like a cup of milk, okay? How cold do you think a cup of milk needs to be kept to stay good and not spoiled? My prediction is that I think it's going to need to be between 0 and 5. It's going to need to be really cold to stay good. I like ice cold milk anyway. Okay, so let's move on. Maybe it won't play the wrong thing.
You want to find out how different temperatures affect the storage of food. To carry out the investigation, some factors should be kept the same and one factor varied. Which factors should be kept the same and which one should be varied? Drag your answers to the correct locations.
So if I am trying to figure out what is the best temperature, that's the thing I'm going to vary, okay? That is my variable. Remember, the variable is the thing you're testing for. It's the thing you're changing to see which one of these works best and which one of these works the worst. So we're going to try different temperatures. That's what's going to vary. Everything else has to stay the same in our project, okay? The amount of food, the type of food, and how long you're studying.
You want to study the effective temperature, so that is the factor you vary. The other factors should be kept the same.
Okay, so let's do a little experiment here.
In this experiment, you'll use 3 samples. I'm not
going to say the examples or the instructions. I'm going to read them to you instead. Okay, so here in our first flask, they have a thing of milk and they have it on ice. So there's not ice in the milk. It's not freezing the milk. It's just sitting in ice, which is similar to what would happen if you put milk in the fridge. That's why, like, let me click A here. That's why, oh, maybe it's going to make us play the whole thing. I'm sorry.
Of the same milk. You can store the samples at 3 different temperatures and observe the results over 3 days. Follow the directions to carry out the experiment. Let's start with flask A, which is stored in ice. Drag the thermometer to the flask to measure the temperature.
Okay, let's measure it.
Record the temperature in the table.
It is right at 0 degrees Celsius, okay? So, now...
click the calendar to start the experiment.
Okay, did anything change?
Record your observations about the flask in the table.
I'm going to say no change. There was like none of the milk evaporated out. The amount didn't change. It didn't change color. Nothing grew nasty in it. Looks the same to me. Okay, now
click the reset button.
Reset it.
Repeat the steps for the other flasks.
Now this flask of milk is just set out on the counter and nothing's being done to it. It's not being cooled or heated. So let's measure the temperature of this with our thermometer. All right, it is right above the halfway point. It's at about 16 degrees. Are you ready to see what happens if we leave milk sitting on the counter for 3 days? Let's see. Oh, okay. So I am noticing some change here. I am noticing a change in color. There's some green on top. Are you seeing the little cloudy chunks? It's kind of yucky. I don't think I would want to drink that. All right, let's try flask C. This guy is getting heated. It looks like he's sitting on a hot plate. It's kind of like a little miniature stove. And yep, we have this up at 30 degrees Celsius. So let's see what happens if we keep it warmed up for 3 whole days. Watch what happens. Whoa, okay. So tons of liquid evaporated. Lots of nasty stuff grew. Color change. All right, let's see what they want us to do next.
Think about what you found. What differences did you find for the milk samples at different temperatures? Type your answer in the box, then click OK.
Okay, let's see. I noticed that the warmer the temperature, the nastier it got by day 3. There was, I'm going to say virtually no change with flask A, so I think that looked like a good temperature. Would y'all agree with that? Okay. Flask C was the worst. I would not drink that. All right.
Think about what you learned. Based on your results, which temperature range is best for storing food?
Okay, based on,
Click the correct answer, then click OK.
what do you think? A high temperature? I'm going to say definitely not. The medium temperature? It was better. It wasn't as gross, but I still wouldn't drink it. So I'm going to say this between 0 and 5 degrees is the best temperature to store milk.
That's right.
And we were right. Now we're going to look at a different variable. This one's kind of interesting.
You've seen that milk spoils faster at a higher temperature. This is because bacteria that cause the milk to spoil grow faster at higher temperatures. Think about this. One of these flasks of milk was heated to 70 degrees Celsius for 20 seconds and then covered and set to its current temperature for 3 days.
Okay.
The second flask of milk was not heated. It was just covered and set to its current temperature for 3 days. Let's examine the flasks.
All right, they're giving us...
Click the flask that was heated to record its current temperature in the table.
So the flask that was heated is sitting at 16 degrees now. So it's like they heated it up, maybe boiled it on the stove for a little bit, and then put it back in the fridge and covered it up and put it back in the fridge at about 16, and now it's at 16, okay? Not frozen, just like cool. But this guy, let's see.
Record its current temperature in the table.
Okay, it's still at 16. Come on, let me type it. It's still at 16. Putting it in the refrigerator brought it down to 16. But look what happened. Something is different about this. I wonder what heating it at one point did to change the way bacteria grows.
Which thermometer shows the temp?
No, hang on. Hopefully it won't make us do the whole
You've seen that milk spoils faster at a higher temperature. This is because bacteria that cause the milk to spoil grow faster
I'm just going to pause this and explain what it said.
Temperatures.
Because for some reason it's not letting me do the next part. Okay, so here's the thing. Heating up milk before you put it in the refrigerator is called pasteurization. Pasteurization is a process that kills bacteria and helps your milk last longer. And so pasteurized milk, most of the milk that you guys will have in your fridge is pasteurized, which means it doesn't have to be frozen to stay good. It can just be at a good temperature, a good cold temperature. It's pretty cool.
Which thermometer shows the temperature in degrees Celsius for which object?
Okay, so
drag the items to the correct locations and then click OK.
But let's look here. This is this right here is orange juice, and do you see the ice? Oh, it's lemonade. It's iced lemonade. So since it's iced, I'm going to say it's down to close to 0. This one. Okay, this is our room temperature water from the faucet. Not room temperature, it's cold, but it's not freezing cold with the ice. So what do you think? Yep. Okay, this is some warm hot chocolate that is not so hot that you can't hold it. He's got his hands around the cup, so it's not too hot to drink, but it's nice and warm. But these peppers that they're cooking are boiling right now. You see that blue flame down there? They are super hot, so they're going to be a lot warmer here.
Good job.
Thanks.
These are the correct temperatures.
Okay, we have 45 seconds before this video cuts off. Let's see if we make it.
You learned a lot about measuring temperature.
Yes, we did.
Before we finish, let's take a quick look at the main points you covered.
Better be real quick.
All matter has temperature.
Yep.
Temperature can be measured using a thermometer. Units of temperature are degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit.
Today we talked about Celsius.
Food usually spoils more quickly at higher temperature. Now that you've finished the lesson, click the lab report button to save.
Okay, we're not going to save it, but that is the lesson. Tomorrow, or the next time you do science, you'll do a brain check. But that is our science lesson for today. Good job, scientists! Way to go! With 3 seconds to spare!